Get my drizank on deck. Push through like a tizank. On deck. F what you ever tizank. On deck. Got the pen in my izank. On deck. And I'm feeling straight spizank. On deck. And I'm feeling straight krizank. On deck. And I said yet again, fuck what you thizank. On diggity deck, dock now, dolly up now, stallia in like a stallion, styled up now. So let's see, what we gonna do here? We gonna do some serious shit. We gonna do some real fucking spiritual survival shit, because that's low-key what it is. If there's a channel of so-called non-duality, and then we're in duality, but the non-duality is the real truth, and duality is a partial truth, then the non-duality is the bigger truth, and the bigger truth is the spiritual survivability, and how in between the spiritual survivability and the surface level survivability, something respectively, according to the predecessors, there's been a casual hijacking of just energetic ignorance that has taken place, not blaming anybody, not pointing any fingers, just following up and processing what the predecessor said. I'm going to show you the chart real quick. I'm not going to like say how long this is going to go. I'm just going to read you the chart. I'll show you the chart, and however it got, open source duplicated, that's just one polarity of you focusing on just Saturn stuff when it's not just that. And your detrimental shadow predicament is because, and you could watch it later, your detrimental shadow predicament is because you're polarized on just one planet from lifetimes. You forgot that. Now you're blaming God because you went away from God's fucking wholeness, because you chose to polarize yourself. And as you chose to polarize yourself, now that you're blaming God, that's irrelevant. It's a losing battle, because that's not necessarily solving the solution. And it's just not, and you're still in your polarity. So I'm gonna just show you the chart, and I don't have to remind anybody that I've been doing this for a long time. The receipts will come up when they come up, when there's some type of equilibrium and bravery in the field. I'm not worried about this shit. I'm cleansing my desires. Like, I'm not all anxious to get like certain things done. Like, oh, it has to be done like right now. No, there's different divinity timings that are happening that I'm okay with, and for the things that lean towards preservation, that's on some other shit, So I'm going to show you the chart. I'm going to read these notes, and I'm sure people have seen the IG, I'm sure there's been a handful of people who've seen the IG. They already know what's up. I'm going to show you the chart right now. This is Negentropic Human Design, Underground Collectively. I don't know how many episodes I got. Obviously, there'll be a particular type of organization in the future, and every country could peep game. Every president could lean towards balance or not, and every president could actually lean towards fair intellectual law, in how there's hypocrisy in some shit and there's fairness in some shit, and how does each president peep that fucking fairness and hypocrisy on a fucking neutral level. And the intention is not disrespectful. It's truth, it's intelligence, and it's some other shit. And you could have any type of emotional reaction you want. I don't care, that's your human shit. That's your level of shadow work. Whatever fucking reaction you have, I don't necessarily care, because I've seen it all. I've like on a spiritual level, like I've heard it all, like I get it. Like anybody could like spew their fucking quote unquote venom end quote at another person. Like, see, that's like, it's nothing new, This is the 3D. The 3D is welcoming and processing that dense shit. The dense shit is being processed in the 3D. And as the dense shit is being processed in the 3D, it's just doing that, And yeah, so I'm in the studio. It's a real advanced studio. So, and within the studio, and with that, I shall now show you a visual representation of the chart. I did this style last month in a different order, and it was such a unique order that I just didn't even want to share it, because it was just that abstractly, creative and juicy. So when I did the Virgo new moon, like I do like sometimes I'll write a post and I'll say like, I'm gonna do these readings. And sometimes, like, you know, for some reason, like, I kind of just like, the spirit doesn't let me like push it through, because some things I do got to say for myself, you know. But you know, there's an abundance of intelligence that I don't like. I do what I can when I can, you know. So, and shout out to like I think, you know, I think you know, there's been a lot of books that I, you know, there's shout out to like all the people who have good messages in their books, like, be it whatever time. So now I'm going to show you the chart, and let me get my notes in order. Let me see if because I got two phones, and this is now like my secondary phone. So now I'm going to show you the chart, and I could show you that too. I could show you a lot of things, but like, obviously, like, I'm coming structured, you know. I'm coming in a structured way, and I could have went way more in depth with this as well, you know. Okay, here it is. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to show you the chart right now, and as I show you this chart, it's a okay. So there's the chart. The YouTube might mirror reflect this towards the other way. And in the Virgo new moon, I did it in such a way where it was just so unique, to the point where it was just so unique. I didn't want, like, something didn't want me to share it. But for this one, this is Libra new moon, and I'm starting from the bottom. We're focusing on Mercury, Venus. There's a 5-6-6-5 kind of number completion. You know, 6-5 is kind of like you know, the center for the 64 I Ching gates, most respectively. So 65 is something of a unique natural completion. So that's why I titled it NHD 65. This is just an abstract style. Mercury, the professor. Mercury harboring Gemini and Virgo energies being deposited in Libra. So the Virgo energy is about the professor being the experimentalist, the professor analyzing the experiment, this great spiritual paradox where this, you know, young being is paradoxically now like the master, you know. That's Mercury. And now the master is like, he you know, he's in control of like so many different things in such a way we can't even necessarily comprehend, you know. Like there's just a surface level control system where everything's being organized and put, and Mercury and Venus, that is if you were to call Mercury the professor of the solar system and the Earth, because people are like wondering like, oh, who's controlling the Earth? It's not who's controlling the Earth. It's a different esoteric roundtable, and within that different esoteric roundtable, people are, you know, working up with these beings to get where they're at for a time being based on unique contracts. So Mercury is the professor for the planet Earth and the physical solar system, and Venus is the bookkeeper for the planet Earth and the solar system. So we can't just make assumptions like, oh, you think you are this, you think you're that. Oh, like that's like fragmented, distorted intelligence and ignorance. It's not even like that. It's like these beings go through different evolutions in time, respectively. And within the different yugas and ages in time, they have their own different leverages. And as they have their own different leverages, we're out of pocket with keeping up with their leverage system. Because, you know, one planet could have a lot of power in a certain age of time, and then they could have a reduced amount of power. So that's the shift. That's the essence of the shift. The essence of the shift is we're contracted to certain beings, and those beings have their own gain and loss of power. And as they have their gain and loss of power, no choice. You're under their contracts, and you're gonna like react how they will react, because we're reacting on their feelings and how we're catching up with their balance. Our feelings and our thoughts, they're not ours, they're theirs first. And based on our new selves, we're trying to adapt and catch up with the balance of that shit or not. So that's what that is. And wow, I've been feeling a lot of like just general like, hotness, and that's just my energetic climate and amplitude, and that's just part of the alchemy. Unconscious Aries Earth, that's, the feminine body is receiving the heat. There could be like, there could be just general like birthing pains. Maybe something is ready to be birthed. Something is ready to be like delivered, so like the baby is ready to be born in such a different way. So since the baby is going to be born, all these different planets multidimensionally, they could be having their own babies, and those babies are having other babies, and the babies that are making babies that are making babies, they have amnesia because we forgot that we're like, if we're claiming that we're quote unquote God, end quote, then wouldn't everything else after you be your creation? So you have to be careful with what you're claiming. People shouldn't be claiming shit because it's just ignorance. We are part of source, and we're working our way to partner back up with source, and how we distort that, we're making subtle karmas and distorted karmas for ourselves because we're leading and responding and acting off of confusion. And in the end, everything is our own esoteric responsibility, and it's hard to take such a pill of truth. I get it. We're all in this, together. So let me just wind it back for a second, and let me look at my other notes. So here's the chart, So here's the chart. And the visuals are it's always fun to have visuals, right? Like, oh, you don't have to say anything anymore, right? There's a whole diagram. There's a whole display board. And within that display board, your brain and your mind could, hopefully organize itself, configure itself, and hopefully positively engineer itself towards like a healthy balance, right? Because obviously, like, if you go through an experience and it could be leaning towards traumatic, your brain is gonna like react a certain way, and the brain won't necessarily react harmonic and in balance to traumatic experiences. So within those traumatic experiences, now you have to catch up with some type of healing, but that it's at an unconscious level, because sometimes the traumatic experiences that we have, we kind of just dish under the we just kind of sweep it under the rug, and the trauma is just swept under the rug. And the trauma obviously has different particular knowledge per the case scenario, and it has different emotions. And from those knowledge and emotions, it's impacting the physical body. So the trauma is in the mind, the emotions, and the body respectively. But that could be forgotten because for whatever reason, on an overall level, we're subscribing to some type of energetic, unknowingness, to put it respectively. And the intention is not disrespectful. It's pointing towards deep truth. And if you feel some type of way and you react to it and smirk to it, that's just helping the shadow work, of course, because nothing's really new on that level. But you're still free to do that, because that's part of the process of just healing and having different quirks and squirks and different lurks and schmirks. So it's I'm not like necessarily judging it, but like no one likes to be snarled at. But if people are snarling, then snarl it up. Snarls Barkley. Like, I get it. Okay. So I'm gonna go through these notes, and I put it in this order, in such an order, because Mercury is respectively in one overall roundabout. He is Mercury and Venus put together. They are the first gatekeepers, right? Respectively, in just this season. And Mercury, it being in Libra, that's the whole, because Mercury is like just general sexuality. So the general sexuality is in the Libra constellation. So now we're bringing fair law and jurisdiction to just general sexuality and general basic magic, because Gemini is basic magic, respectively, not spookifying the magic and not demonizing the magic, just the magic of nature. That's Gemini. Gemini is the magic of nature because that's masculine Mercury. And Virgo is just like sexuality type of stuff, finding how we got charged up from the moon energy from the first moon cycle, and seeing where, as we're charged up, where are we going to kind of disperse, release, and deposit that energy? And now that Mercury, that Virgo energy is in Libra, there's going to be some type of balance to, like, you know, there's just going to be a general balance of like groundwork, Venus, daytime Libra, daytime Venus, Libra, that's respective groundwork to, you know, kind of balancing just the field of sexuality. And I know people could like, you know, I know people could like, you know, feel some type of way, but that too shall pass, you know? So like, cause this is negentropic human design, you know, this is mature, natural, neutral insights of the human design that came from a different world, you know? So Mercury is in Libra. So that whole like, you know, sexuality theme of going to school and stuff and just kind of being with peers, that's going to be assessed in just general courthoods of the Libra constellation. And we're going to like know that, we're going to receive that knowing by some gracious miracle, and we're going to see what could be opposing that, you know, or what could be on the other side of it, you know. So check this out here. So this is Mercury right here. Oh, I forgot to do the planet symbol, but the number is representing the planet. So here's the planet, this number, here's the I Ching gate number, here's the sign that it's in, and this sub number, every gate is its own house. Every gate has 6 different stages, and the 6 different stages could be looked at as, you know, intuitively as the first line being the first floor, or excuse me, the first line being the foundation, the second line being the first floor, the third line respectively being the appliances and the details, the fourth line being the staircase, and the fifth line being the second floor, and the sixth line being the rooftop. And obviously that could be refined and edited, but those are just the 6 lines of the gates, because there's spaces within spaces, 6 lines in a gate. And Mercury is in a particular space of differentiation, third line, gate 48, because each gate is a house within of 6 lines respectively. And that gate of a house, it has different receptive impacts by different planets. So within that, Mercury is in a certain space within a space, degrees within Libra, and Mercury is in line 3, gate 48, line 3 respectively, is correlating that to the tones and the moods of the line gates. You know, the first line is smell, second line is taste, third line is outer vision, fourth line is inner vision, fifth line is feeling, sixth line is touch. Basic, you know, 2015 human design Pinterest shit, you know, respectively. So basic fucking Pinterest shit, you know, the tones of the gates. The tones of the gates, they correlate to the different ground lines of it. So the first line is the smell, the second line is the taste, the third line is the outer vision, the fourth line is the inner vision, the fifth line is the feeling, and the sixth line is the touch. Because the 6 lines, they have different correlative key theme notes. Those correlative key theme notes, they have a certain undertone of how the gate is built. The gate is built within different themes of how it's supporting the house of the gate, and within how it's supporting the house of the gate, that also somehow corresponds to a whole different environment, you know, because first line caves, second line market, third line kitchen, fourth line mountains, fifth line valley, sixth line shores. Basic 2015 Pinterest human design knowledge, okay? Because like someone will try to insult me, and then like you know, they'll try to insult me, and where did I wrote this one down too. Where's it at? I'll get to it. Yeah, people want, and then they want to act like they didn't, you know. Then they want to act like they're not doing it, because it's just low key. It's just low key, kind of like some type of competition. But I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna get too hefty on petty shit here. So Mercury is in line 3, gate 48, and to balance the gate 48 is gate 21. So we're gonna need some type of will center. We're gonna need to heal our family life, just general heart shit, so we could be on par with Mercury shit, you know, heart, family, you know, emotions. And obviously, like if I would have like done more research, like I would have like told you what gate 21 is, but that's part of the negentropic human design, respectively. And actually, gate 21, actually, I think it is here. Let's see, where is it at? It's right, yeah, Earth. The Earth itself isn't gate 21. And what is the Earth? The Earth is subjective creativity on how you were formated from just the different elemental passings. And obviously, slow this video down if you need to. So gate 21, that's the Earth. So the Earth is feminine, intuitive self-control. And low key, the gate 21, respectively, on an intuitive note, gate 21 is enhancing resilience. And that's a big ass theme. All of this pain, the paradox of pain, is to enhance your own individual subjective resilience and worry about yourself, and maybe purify your ignorance and purify your weakness, respectively, generally, respectively. Gate 21, purify the ignorance and enhance the resilience and the intuitive strategy is to kind of like see where we spiritually align with future tribes, because there's intuitive notes on these gates, obviously. So I just went to gate, so the Earth is in gate 21, and the Earth is in direct opposition to Mercury. So how we're going to balance the Mercury stuff is the Earth, the unconscious self. We need to go into the unconscious. We have to go into how the unconscious Earth is in a constellation of Aries, and that unconscious Earth is just getting purified from the gods, right? Aries, that completion of the gods, right? So the purification of the gods, this is it, you know. It's all of it. It's all here, you know. It's all here. It's all everywhere. Before that movie, and that movie was just some hand-me-down subconscious circulation. Just received some notes on some deeper shit. Good job. And you were in the right place, right time. Like, that's just the neutral shit of it. So Mercury is in line 3. So as Mercury is in line 3, we're seeing everyone's pushing out their vision, you know, but is it distorted or not, you know? Because Mercury is it's like a complex puzzle, right? Is that really the complete puzzle, or is it just some type of an illusion? So Mercury is in line 3. So Mercury is showing you the outer vision of truth, but our ignorance wants to deny it. Mercury in line 3 in gate 48. So line 3, the outer vision of gate 48 being the well. So people are going to be analyzing and structuring the depth. So analyzing and structuring the depth of the well, Mercury in gate 48, line 3, we're seeing the outer vision of the well. We're seeing the outer vision of analyzing and structuring the depth. So that's gate 48. And Mercury and Venus, they're closely knit together. So that sacral chakra and that throat chakra, they're close by in vicinity. So the sacral and the throat, they're kind of like having their own supportive energies of close nearby fusion, neighboring energies. And within the neighboring energies, it could be there could be a side shift of like just kind of going from 1 3 5 7 9 to 2 4 6 8 10. That's like neighbor energies, like when the signs are next to each other, like Libra and Scorpio, it could be that's like oscillative neighbor energies. So sometimes they could see it through, or sometimes they could be totally opposite, but they're still nearby and it's close to a conjunction. So within that, now I'm going to go to Venus. And as I'm going to Venus, let me check this other battery. Okay, it's good. This battery's good. So now Venus is, and good thing I wrote like side notes on these papers, because the notes are really helping, you know, really the notes with the diagram, they're really helping. And within these intuitive reads, let all these other people take notes. Hey, friend, I'm at 25 minutes. I'm reading notes on a diagram. I'm being patient with myself. I'm being steady with myself. Please bring good balanced energies, or please leave. Please bring good balance in. There, look at it. Someone was there. See, it's like, if you're not here for balance, leave, leave, leave. That's it. So Venus, the bookkeeper of Mercury, faded destiny, destiny on hold, respectively, letting go, seeing, owning up to our Venusian karmas, not good, not bad, owning up to our desires and our indulgent energies, and seeing how there's just general transactions. Venus general trades. Venus is general trade. And within the general trade, Venus is in Scorpio. So that 44, that's a spleen gate. So the start of Scorpio is also completing and ending survival in such a unique way. So so Venus is here in gate 44, and I hope you could see the chart, right? Because it looks pretty delish to me, just for my own intellectual pursuit. So Venus is in and I don't mean to shout like this either. I'm just trying to, I'm working with mama. Well, I'm working with what mama gave me, you know. That's what I'm doing right here. And like, people could judge it, misinterpret the shit out of it. Good for you. And you're still, if you shit on the support, you shit on the support. Okay. So Venus is in gate 44. Venus, the bookkeeper of Mercury. And I could have taken more extensive notes, but you could do your own research too within the gates. And now we're seeing like how we could barter with Venus to see how we could complete the survival circuit, you know? Because Scorpio is, you know, somehow paradoxically completing the survival circuit in this dark 3D, not good, not bad. Just working with what mama gave you, right? It's like, right. So now I'm not and yeah, I could have took more notes, but I was just kind of like, you know, I felt there was a completion within the notes. I could have took like 3 times more notes, but I just felt it. There was an intuitive, like, kind of wind, or an intuitive whiff, where I just kind of, like, you know, I felt like I could have, you know, I could do this shit, you know. But so I'm gonna move on to Pluto. So Pluto is doing the complete reset in the root chakra. So wherever you're at, we're all going through like some type of death. If Pluto wasn't in this gate is still representing death. So it's death on death. It's double death. It's finished. It's like your carcass is living and dying. And within that, Pluto kind of more or less knows your fate and your death, and your carcass somehow has a written destiny, more or less. But how that destiny is changed, we have to follow up with some balanced shit. So within past transmissions, and Instagram transitions, I've spoken about Pluto and Cap. And Pluto and Cap has been doing its work here. Venus is in line 5. Line 5, Venus, we're seeing the second floor of gate 44. So there's a couple notes I'm missing. So excuse me for that, and thank you for bearing with me. Because obviously there's some notes I'm missing. And obviously this is raw and jagged like a jade and a diamond. I get it. So I'm going to move on to the sun. So the sun is in gate 48. And gate 48, I believe it's of the theme of corrected action, you know, correcting ourselves to just the energy and how the energies are working within the seasons and the placements. And if we don't want to correct ourselves, then we're just going to miss out on what life has to offer, you know, energetically, right? Because we all function a different way. Like, this whole personal experience of mine, what HD has taught me personally is to complain less, to find some type of patience, and to find some type of calmness, and to be soothed with the knowledge of it. And that knowledge teaching us patience, the knowledge teaching us calmness, and the knowledge teaching us acceptance that reduces the complaining. That's what the HD is teaching us, respectively. So within the sun, now the sun being in gate 48, line 1, we're on the foundation of that shit. We're on the foundation of having a new character to just kind of be patient and calm, pretty much, and receiving that message. The moon is there. We could newly be feeling into that too. South node in gate 18. What did I write for south node in gate 18? We have a reflective capacity, how we survived from past disasters, understanding why the Matrix was put together to solve alien warfare. The Matrix was put together, the simulation Maya was put together to solve alien warfare, and it's simultaneously a dream and not a dream. It's simultaneously fake and not fake. Real circumstances and tests are happening, but it's more or less somewhatly staged, but not entirely. So there's a nuance within the paradox. So gate 18, the intuitive note was south node in 18, understanding why the Matrix was put together to solve a bigger survival picture. And Lilith is in gate 18, and I'll save that keynote. I'll come back to like how Lilith is acting in gate 18. So seeing how life is 50%, everything is 50-50, right? Seeing how life is 50% equal, past, present, and future. Past, present, and future, everything is 50% esoterically equal. Our own individual subjective biases are distorting that stuff, and we have inaccurate complaining. So now I'm going to gate 17. Gate 17, North Node. My intuitive keynote for North Node is, and I'm speaking like this because I'm just trying to squeeze it out as swiftly and gracefully as I can. But the intuitive keynote for North Node in Aries, Gate 17, line 3, is military tech operations that you could resonate with. You could work to your position. Resonance gathering, the quote unquote, the following, end quote. In an updated way, the resonance gathering. Because what is following? It's just energy following energy based on your realizing, understanding, processing your resonance into what you want to resonate to. Does that sound familiar? Quote unquote, the following. So North Node is pulling us towards general neutral military tech operations neutrally. This is the fucking most advanced teachings you're ever gonna fucking hear. And my underground shit is way beyond everybody's shit. And you fucking know it on a subconscious level. And gate 17 is also lead yourself. Don't have subjective opinions on what you have not experienced. Because that whole North Node in Aries, you're just going to miss the whole reality of how the reality is asking you to step up and balance this shit. Because if it's not, then there's going to be a lack of balance in the world. So that's North Node, and we're seeing that. And then that North Node is line 3. So that line 3 is about the correlation of line 3 is outer vision. So we're seeing this shit. There's a lot of visibility shit. There's a lot of vision shit. So now I'm going to go to Jupiter, respectively. Jupiter, respectively, is spiritual focus as well as competition and ritual. And that spiritual focus is gathering together. We, what does that say? We have the keynote of gate 45 is we have. So the spiritual focus, Jupiter, is on what we have together within our spiritual tribes, low key. And the spiritual tribes, we have to work and muster up our strength to go and discern what is right for us. Jupiter knows what's right for Jupiter because he's Jupiter. And that's line 5. Line 5 is the second floor. And it's the feeling. So we're feeling this Jupiter. There's a lot of low-key Jupiterian feelings. We all are these microcosm planets, and everyone leans energetically to Jupiter more so because he's an overall energy within the thresholds, right? And he has his own dualities, respectively. And we're honoring and we're trying to like resonate with all is self, right? So, and then Jupiter's in line 5. We're feeling that whole gate 45. We're feeling how we've made it this far. We are the last We are the last frontier, respectively, original open source. And we are also Oh, there was another point I wanted to squeeze out. Yeah, we're ending generational curses in such a way. We're closing cycles of past prejudice. We're the generation that ends the sketchy shit. And Jupiter, on his unique graceful balance, is just expanding that, letting the microcosm competitions be what they are in their distortion, because Jupiter's just guiding the shit. All these planets are low-key secret balanced, and the microcosms are just doing their experiment reaction from this shit. Shout out to every country in balance. Thank you very much. And then that Jupiter, we're receiving that Jupiter communication within the throat chakra. And we could like we could love Jupiter for what he has given us, you know? So I'm going to move on. So yeah, we're like, and it's eventually racism will be transcended, because I'm not trying to make anybody in a miracle way. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. I'm just trying to see like anybody's susceptible to distortion. Doesn't matter the race. So now I'm going to go to the Earth. Earth is in gate 21. I kind of already touched upon this. Intuitive strategy, you know, creative chaos within the Earth. And within the creative chaos on the spiritual level, that creative chaos needs to be balanced. And the Earth is the paradoxical, hard, compressed outlet for the creative conscious expression. Creative conscious expression, Aries, is now being balanced in the sun of the Earth. I mean, the sun of Libra, because Earth is in Aries. And obviously this is raw, and I could see how people could judge this, like, and obviously, like, you know, that's cool, like, you know, to work up towards certificates, you know, get some type of certificates. But ironically and paradoxically, the intuitive certificates are the ones giving structure to your certificates. So I'm going to move on to Neptune. Neptune. Ooh, I love Neptune. What is Neptune here intuitively? Neptune here is, ooh, where did it go? There it is. Spiritual separation, Lord of division, Lord of apartness, the creation that's separated in a grand miracle away from the spiritual realms. That's what Neptune is. Neptune is the first creation, paradoxically closest to the spiritual realms, but the first thing away from the spiritual realms. He's the start of this deep material stuff. Because one of the gates in Neptune, in Pisces, is gate 36, crisis of identity crisis based on separation. And that separation, it's a natural crisis of identity, because you're going away from a unique type of universal wholeness, respectively. And now Neptune is just kind of like, you know, on his own. He's ruling and exalted within his house. And he's just, you know, making his own lineage based on what he is from his own element. Naturally, he's expressing his own domain based on what he is. Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces. That Pisces, it's the first outlet threshold away from the original spiritual world, and it's the track record to go to the external reality. And it's all the clone wars on an individual neutral level that are just casually created, not good, not bad. And there's different divisions and factions thereof of the esoteric Pisces. So now moving on to Saturn. And then Neptune is in line 6 of 36. We're on top of it. We're transcending the identity crisis. Look at line 6, gate 36. We have a chance to transcend that shit. We're getting over it. We're feeling ourselves succeeding and accomplishing this shit, right? Because look at Neptune, line 6, gate 36, Pisces. And I forgot to do all the aspects of each other, because like in past videos, it's like I'll do an aspect of 5, 6, 6, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, etc., etc. Just because it's like, and I did it in this order because it's like Mercury and Venus, that's like surface level thresholds. We need Pluto to understand the reality of death and life. Sun is seeing the external expressions of shit. Of like where the astrological child creation of the feminine solar system is. The sun is the son of the feminine solar system, and the sun is its own microcosm, masculine solar system from a different feminine solar system. Oh my gosh, hold on for a second. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. This fucking phone doesn't want to charge. Oh God, okay. Hold on for a sec. This phone charger's acting up. It's okay. It's kind of. So the primary phone is giving me Bluetooth, and the primary phone is on 14%. So just hold on for a sec. And please replay this. You know, because obviously you could go in the middle of a podcast and just be like, "What is he talking about?" Like, no shit, dude, you gotta replay it. My style is kind of rigid. But the rigidness and the abstractness, it eventually lands. And we all have the mutable qualities where it's like, it's kind of like shift, like the style could be like shifty spaghetti, right? But after the shifty spaghetti style, it could be cleaned up. Just generally. It could be cleaned up because obviously, like, people will be like, yeah, this is nasty stuff. This is like, oh, you make me want to vomit. Like, okay, that's fair, you know, within the unconscious fluid shit of life, you ironically also have those qualities generally, not me pointing out anybody. I'm just saying generally. But like, we all have that shifty spaghetti style, and hopefully it could be cleaned up because me as a Sun Libra, I could be kind of rigid, but I find some type of ground after, whether your intelligence can recognize that or not. So now I'm going to go to Saturn is in gate 63. Ooh, Saturn is this pressure cooker, the pressure cooker of the crown. The crown is seeing, can you hold on to your fucking shit? Can you hold on to your kingdom, your sovereignty, your fucking self, just generally? And how there's different duality expressions after that. That's the game of the gods, you know? Because gate 63 is after completion. So let me read the fucking note real quick. Where the fuck is that note at? Oh yeah. There was a different note I wanted to say about this. After completion. It's there. Everything is there. You just have to like go through the obstacle and the tribulation of Saturn. It's there. You just have to really crack the code within your unique challenge. Because Saturn in gate 63, that's the pressure cooker. Some people just say shit just to say shit. Some people are saying utter nonsense, low key. You passed the test. No, some people don't pass the test. Open your eyes. Not everyone's passing the fucking test. This shit is raw out here in these streets. Look at Saturn 63. Not everybody wins. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel sad. But that's not to say that everyone's going to lose. May the fucking balanced gods make it some type of fair avenue, maybe. But Saturn in gate 63, that's the pressure cooker of like everything that's already completed. This Saturn matrix, it's going to fucking have its own unique surface level algorithm, and people are just going to like replicate, and they're not going to know the general casual basic repercussions of the replication shit because they're just a microcosm of a microcosm of this Saturn shit. Because all in the end, it's all just some Saturn shit on the surface level shit. It's all just some Saturn shit, and just like, okay, you're replicating shit. It's still fucking, you're still on the Saturn shit. You're still going through that. Polarized, not good, not bad. It could be good or bad. It could be exalted or detrimental, but it's still going to go through some type of rigid machination process of some protocols you don't even understand. You're just getting barely acquainted on the esoteric level, ironically. And you're going to feel some type of way based on your lack of shadow work, or maybe you following up on some shadow work. And Saturn being in line 4 here is the inner vision, seeing, harnessing the depth of your shadow work. Saturn, line 4, inner vision of Saturn, crisis, even respectively, tragedy, just unique fucking just quote unquote disruption, end quote. And the polarity of gate 63 is 64. So to balance this Saturn and after completion, we have to have a keynote of before completion. What were we before on a spiritual level? Eventually we could have teamwork to know ourselves, so we could accept this crazy Saturn shit of people just doing stuff out of pocket and they don't know the repercussions of it generally. Saturn shit. Now I'm going to go to fucking Mars. Oh God. Okay, that. So now I'm going to go to Mars. And then and I did it in this order because I did it Mercury, Venus, Pluto, Sun, Moon, South Node, North Node, because the Moon is connected to the South Node and the North Node. And then after the South Node and the North Node and the Moon, then we could just see some balanced threshold shit, Jupiter. And then once we get that balanced spiritual threshold shit, then we could go to our unconscious. After we go to our unconscious, we could see the depth of the spiritual creations, Neptune, and how it's a whole different game. Then we could go back to the surface level matrix. In one sense, that's plugged into the Earth, Saturn. We could get real about life. We could get real about real esoteric business and religion, quote unquote, end quote. And then after we get our business right, then we could be proper and sophisticated and balanced with the quote unquote war shit that's misunderstood and misinterpreted, end quote. And then after that Mars shit, we could thank Uranus for this fucking spiritual foundation. And then after the spiritual foundation shit, then we could go towards like just the general. I wrote a note on here. Lilith in gate 18, shadow the reality of the shadows and how that has its own, opposition and self-organizing principle. And God is allowing that. And God loves his enemies. And God gives grace to enemies. And the enemies might not know it because God is that much of a father. So after after us completing some type of war, inner war, then we could see the depth of the spiritual foundation. Then we could go to the real surface level reality of the Earth, the shadow reality, Lilith. So you go from Mercury, Venus, Pluto, Sun, South Node, North Node, Earth, Neptune, Saturn, Mars, Uranus, and Lilith. And the Venus new moon, it was in such a unique order. It was so wet and juicy. I didn't share it, but it's still written down. So let me go to, so Mars is in the root chakra. So the root chakra, it's like the energies of the planets, they're sitting us down. Look at Pluto in the root chakra, Mars in the root chakra, Mars in line 1. We're barely rehabilitating ourselves. We're barely restarting this whole quote unquote metaphorical war, end quote, respectively, end quote. Because look at Mars is in line 1, resetting this shit, resetting the root chakra, knowing your place. Gate 53, what did I write for the note for gate 30? Passion to express, passion to have unique, fair development processes. The development, we have a passion for us to like look after our kids, look after our younger pets, look after our younger animals. Gate 53, growing young kids, growing young animals. There was an underground podcast. I talked about Pokemon, and hope that will get resurfaced in the future later. And it's unique, different, and bomb.com. So Mars in gate 53, passion to express, and passion to express the truth. Sometimes I can't read my handwriting. Does that say resist? We might have some natural resistance too, right? there might be some natural resistance. There might be a passion just to be resistance because we want to find our own way, you know? Mars in Cancer, there could be a resistance energy, a natural resistance energy, because we're trying to find our own new individual place in just how the family is all over the place. And the intention is not to disrespect. So Mars is, we're kind of being, the collective energies of Mars being in Cancer in the solar system relative to the Earth. Mars being in Cancer relative to the Earth is the Earth and the Sun. The character is being developed based on how Mars is having a passion for individual, unique projects, passion to develop and express individual projects. And the resistance is there because Mars is debilitated in Cancer. So since there's a debilitation, there's a natural resistance there. So now Uranus and Gate, and let me just read these notes. I'm almost done here. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. And this was a master class, respectively, because of the earlier notes I said. And now Uranus is in Gate 8. So the Uranus is finding, practical ways. By some miracle, Uranus is finding practical ways. That practicality is being refracted onto the Earth and the Sun in such a way where the spiritual foundation energies, Uranus representing Scorpio, Aquarius, and Capricorn, respectively, that Scorpio, Capricorn, and Aquarius energy, it's getting put in the visual board of Taurus. Taurus is really visual, right? It's really creative. It's really kind of putting the show together. Taurus, second house, seeing it, expressing it, theater, art. So the Uranus is depositing the energies of Scorpio, Aquarius, and Capricorn into this theater. So a lot of these theater productions, they're going to be, of course, they're going to have some scorpionic shit. A Saw 11 coming out of nowhere, out of the woodworks. Capricorn shit and Aquarius shit in Taurus. And Aquarius shit, maybe a new Indiana Jones movie might come out on some Aquarius shit, because Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus has Aquarius energies. Aquarius is in Taurus. So Aquarius and Taurus, you might see a new Indiana Jones movie. You might see a new Back to the Future fucking movie. Capricorn in Taurus, you might see a new Batman movie, right? So, and within that, hopefully we could use that fictional fantasy shit to have some type of fucking practicality with that shit, respectively. And then after this newfound miraculous practicality, now we could go to the dark reality of Lilith, like Silent Hill. We're snapping out of a matrix to go to some type of fucking reality. 11 to 10, Silent Hill. She wakes up from the dead, and now she's going back to save her fucking daughter. 11 to 10. That's what we're coming back to save our own inner child. 11 to 10. So I don't know. I got really theatrical with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus is in the throat. So we're fucking no choice. We're receiving beneficial activations, and the shadow work detriment energies is blocking that stuff. The lack of cleansing purities is blocking Uranus's miraculous energies in the throat. To balance Uranus's energies within the throat, we have to follow generator energy, respectively, within sacral energies. So we're leaning on the generators to do their generator shit and to produce the fucking sacral loosh energy. No comparison to the projectors, manifestors, or the reflectors, or the manifestor generators, respectively. 8 years underground, you ain't gonna insult me. And if you do, you're ignorant as fuck. So Uranus in Gate 8, line 3, Line 3 is the outer vision. So that outer vision is just coming to life. AI is doing its thing, and hopefully esoteric AI is doing its thing. Shout out to the predecessors. So we need to lean on the generators of the collective reality, negentropic human design. Like, screw the ignorance and screw the fucking lack of cleansing, right? Esoteric cleansing, because that shit is just distortive, ignorant shit, and we all have the chance to rise above that shit. So sacral chakra to balance earnest is outer vision in gate 8. Gate 8, let me see another note. Balancing with the planets. Look, at people are blaming God because of their own polarized contracts. No, we have a new chance to balance with all of the planets or not, as they have their own shifting leveraging, shifts of leveraging shifts. Bite the bullet and adapt. Earnest in gate 8. So, and we're receiving that in the throat chakra and that outer vision. We're getting up to speed with that earnest shit. Earnest, higher octave of Mercury. Mercury and earnest have a low-key circuitry because they're higher octaves and lower octaves. So that first gatekeeper, Mercury, knows all the secrets of earnest, but he's not going to let you know that fucking next level stage unless you do Mercury shit, right? So that's Mercury. So the Mercury karma, it's pretty hard. It's harder than, it's low key the hardest, right? Because he, like, Jesus is king. He's the recent ruler. The predecessors say that Mercury is the ruler of the New Testament, and you could fact check that with other, predecessors saying other things within their own bibliography. And then let me go back to Pluto real quick. So we're going from Venus to Pluto. So as we're feeling in to completing our survival, after we complete our survival, Scorpio to Cap, that's a sextile. So we're having general communication about, general communication is the sextiles. And within the sextiles, as information flies quicker than flies go to the lantern, Pluto is there to support us to see, did we do our homework to see what Pluto's been doing for the last however long it's been in Capricorn, shifting in and out of it more or less for the last 2.5 plus 3 plus years, right? So there's been this whole recycling mechanism within the background esoteric predecessor industry, Capricorn, esoteric predecessor industry, recycling mechanism. So that recycling mechanism, it's giving communication to Venus and how we could compromise within the balance gods, giving us a chance to reset our game of survival. So I'm going to conclude it there. Let me just look over my notes real quick. And did I miss any other notes? The sun is character adapting to the climate. Lilith, the reality of material darkness. The gate is its own house. Saturn, gate 63. One more note I forgot to put was get your shit together. Thank you, Saturn, for these hard lessons. Balance to you. And yeah. Oh, and Ernest. Oh, there's another note I want to say about Ernest, but I'll keep that for a different one. And that one is juicy because I'm looking at my notes. You have the best life ever. And let me just write it out real quick. Let me open this real quick. How do I look? Wow, it was sweaty in my car. So, and shout out to the fitness industry. And shout out to the fitness industry 6,000 years ago. Right? Just cause. And you're entitled to your fragmented level of subjective bias perspectives. That's okay. And quote unquote, it extremely is what it is. End quote, extremely. And there's a bunch of other notes I didn't take. Let me just write out. And thank you. Thank you. Let me just write out real quick. If I had the other chart, because there's a different astrological chart. If I had that chart, I could also look at it and see different things. So yeah, may you find some type of new balance, new equilibrium. And may we ground original open source and fairness. And energetically, that's going to express itself different ways based on human design gate differentiation. and planet differentiation. Multi-planetary differentiation. What is multi-planetary differentiation? The planets are having their own multiple different aspects of self, colliding with other planets in different gates, making new differentiation. Multi-planetary differentiation. You got it.